that's like a slam dunk. That's like sheer proof that we've evolved. Chromosome 2 has 2 centromeres. It's the only chromosome that does this. It shows clear signs of fusion, which is an effect of actual evolution. This other gentleman was speaking about how come snakes have evolved, and if that was the case, they would have completely evolved. We see proof of evolution. At one point in time, we know all canines were wolves, but due to domestication and working with human beings, they became domesticated. So they're not wolves anymore. We call them dogs. Doberman pinchers. I mean, we have proof of where genes where there was some type of hand, be it human, that brought a breed and formed it into another. That's just pretty much what happened to us. It's just evolution. That's why we all are categorized in specific families. No, we didn't evolve from squids or animals that live underwater. Yeah, I mean, who would believe that, right? But we do come from one family. We are all the great apes. We have 5 fingers, 5 toes, bipedal, share like 99.9% DNA within the family. That's proof of evolution. Just because we don't see all monkeys being humans, that doesn't disprove evolution.
Yeah, the thing is like, it does though. Because evolution, I keep telling you, the base premise is how haploids turn into diploid cells of another species, right? Meaning a completely different species. We would have to start with the base premise of how prokaryotes engulfed one another to create a eukaryotic cell. So that's where the theory actually starts. Then we get to pigs, then we get to cats, then we get to Neanderthals and Homo floresiensis. The problem, though, is that nature did not fuse their DNA together. They're not 100% of anything. They have DNA that is shared with multiple organisms, and these organisms are not naturally procreating and having sex with each other in nature to keep up your so-called evolution theory that you're talking about. So again, I've answered your question. I've responded to you. Now answer mine, because the question that I'm asking you is the base premise of evolution. How did autotrophs turn into heterotrophs? Please go ahead and answer me that.
And don't tell us the word evolution. Tell us the morphological, biological, genetic changes that took place within that prokaryote for it to change into a eukaryote.
Environment and evolution.
You can't say evolution, and when we're asking you about evolution. So I got you. Thank you for sharing that. I'm going to go ahead and move to the next guest.
And let me say this. Dr. Rupert Sheldrake, which is a biologist, a cell biologist, he literally said out of his own book that he wrote called Morphic Resonance. You see what I'm saying? Evolutionary biologists around the whole planet, they don't generally agree on evolution, that microevolution within the species can account for the growth of a new species. No evolutionary biologist agrees with that. You want to know why? Because there's no biological data on how prokaryotes in nature change into eukaryotes. So let me just leave you with that.
All right. So who is this? Jackson Peppers, Evolution of Biggest Life We're Told. Go ahead and tell me how you feel using science, please. And your background is a little bit loud.
Sorry, hold on. So, like, can we just shut the fuck up? Because, like, y'all are ugly as a motherfucker, and I don't care.
All right, so Mike Tyson, Evolution, the Biggest Lie Ever Told. How do you feel about the prompt using science, please?
See, I wasn't the biggest in biology or the smartest in biology, but I feel like evolution is really real. I think we actually elevate. Do you not think we elevate?
Go ahead and explain your prompt explain your premise using science.
Do I have to use scientific terms?
Yep,
to explain science?
That's kind of strict. Is that not kind of strict? Come on, like.
The evolution,
it's not strict.
Evolution is so-called a scientific method. You see what I'm saying? So go ahead and explain that method that takes place in nature. That's what we're saying scientifically, biologically, genetically, chemically.
So,
What other way?
1283, you've been on mute for a second. Did you want to add something?
No, I just got back to my phone. Actually, I'm just listening.
All right, brother. I'm gonna go ahead and rotate you out to keep that space open. Feel free to request back up whenever you want to. Again. And let's see. Sensei Key, I see you're loading in.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. First of all, I love the live, and this is the first time where I've heard intelligent conversation about the species and evolution. So I think you all are brilliant. I definitely don't have the terminology to use, but to answer the prompt, I agree. I don't believe evolution is real, especially from the perspective in which you've introduced tonight. And I'm just up here because I have a question. I'm actually learning, and I would like to, I didn't catch the beginning, but it makes sense to me that you can't mix two different species together naturally, just like, you don't see these animals mating together, that they mate unnaturally and then put back into the wild. And when it comes to humans, what is it that you believe happened? I missed that part, and I just wanted you guys to cover that again.
Okay, well, first of all, thank you for sharing that, and gratitude, my sister. I really do value your content. This is my second page, so I'm glad that you came back so that I could follow you on this page.
Abundance.
To answer your question, when it comes to the origin of the eukaryotic cell, it stretches back 600,000 years. And when we look at all the different genetic material of these organisms, it only leads us back to genetic engineering, which is something that's been taking place for 600,000 years. We, outside of all other life forms that we've talked about today, too, 200 to 400,000 years as well. So that 600-year gap is letting us know that there are several plants, insects, microorganisms, and even some so-called humans where their genes did not arrive through natural biogenetic processes. The only other way that this could have happened is through introgression, through a form of hybridization. And again, we've seen evidence of the tampering of robotics that stretches back to the 9th century. There is an entity depicted in stone. Someone did mention the Sumerian texts and tablets in here earlier, which is a pretty old text considering when it comes to these people in their so-called history, of an entity that has been rounding up two organisms and have been splicing on the planet. Most people don't believe that, but this information was left in stone, just like pyramids, just like the tombs, just like megalithic structures, right? There has to be some sort of manual doing, because pigs, cats, dogs have genetics that have been fused together. So that's what evolutionary biologists are saying. Dr. What's his name? Jack Cruz. I have two scientists on my page that are explaining that, Daniel Silverman and
Cell biologist John Biggerstaff.
John Biggerstaff is a cell biologist, and he doesn't agree with evolution because it goes against time, and there would have to be some sort of hand that would have had to take place with putting together the so-called humans, or these YT people, the Asians so-called, they share DNA with these organisms. It's never been proven for so-called black people to naturally produce animal proteins and enzymes.
Yeah.
No, it makes all the sense in the world. I mean, I've heard of human chimerism where, a woman can be pregnant with a child and that child can engulf the other twin, but I've never heard of it between multiple species at one time. So this, I think what you're talking about is brilliant. I got to go back and do some studying and some homework, but you've given me plenty to go back and research. So thank you for this live. I love it, and I'll be listening.
Okay, gratitude for that. Sure thing. I would say study genetic engineering in the history of it, in the build People hear genetic engineering now and they think like, oh, this is new, but you got to understand the build, the first science tools that were first used, what was before microscopes, what was before the slides, what were the scientists actually thinking, the history of biology, the history of anatomy. This is like a collection of like 4+ years worth of us both studying the origin of the cells, prokaryotes, eukaryotes, and I also have a lot of books pinned on my page as well.
Yep, and I would advise for you to study your DNA, your neuromelanin. You see what I'm saying? Because that will let you know that we can be spliced into, and we are the only organisms that can generate, emit, and absorb light, sound, and every other frequency on the light spectrum without no resistance. And
Yeah. Thank you. I'm following. I'm already following. I understood that melanin allowed us to absorb all forms of light. I didn't know there were that many different types of melanin, so that's something I want to go look into as well.
Yep, 8 types of melanin, 5 that are basic, 3 that are synthetic.
Yep, ours is the only one that scientists cannot splice into. They cannot get into the cell. Yeah. You have to know why that is as the head of the species.
Yeah, and that's just because our cells function like black holes. If they use electroporation or UV light to splice, so light just absorbs itself. It only takes in synthetic biology a small pore formation to be made on a cell to completely change the entire genome. So if you think about a needle, right, or a tiny laser beam making a small pore like the pores that are on your face, applying that to a cell, that's all it takes to change an entire species. So that can't happen to our cell because of the morphic resonance. I would also advise you studying like morphology, morphic resonance, because that's the core of consciousness. If you remove the field of a photon, it's no longer a photon. So that's what functions our body and functions our cells is light. Why darkness matters is written by 4 BOK neuroscientists. So our people have this information, have had it. Lots of studies on the brain, neuromelanin. Yep.
So
I would definitely advise that for sure, my sister. But yeah, if nothing else, my sister, thank you for coming in here and sharing that and for asking that question. Is it okay if I move to the next guest?
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Okay. Yep. All right. So I think it is, I'm just trying to see who this is at the bottom. Derek, evolution, the biggest lie ever told. Go ahead.
How y'all doing? I just want to state too, you guys are highly educated, and I am intrigued with the live. I'm following too as well. And I hope I just don't sound too dumb. But as far as what I've known and what I feel about the topic, evolution, I think it's obviously been debunked. As far as what I know, what I found out about, like, cause I've been like kind of a historian or a history buff. I've been going to do a big like spiral when back in COVID 2020, that kind of got me more on a spiritual journey. So as far as history goes, when you mentioned earlier about the Sumerian tablets and how even with the debunk around carbon dating and fossils, there's a lot of gaps in time with that too as well. And that's what I've been aware of. And that kind of debunks evolution because in a way, there's a lot of time that hasn't been accounted for with this data that's been retrieved from said fossils and, just things that we found archaeologically, so and piggybacking on just because I'm overwhelmed with the whole cellular structures and just that terminology as well. But it's just at the end of the day, regardless, we just as melanated or a certain type, which I've been, I'm new to this too, as far as there's 8 types of melanin. But as far as our melanin as far as Black people. The connection with sun and nature has always been prevalent in my eyes when it came down to how we absorb the sun for energy. So I do think that evolution has been already debunked. I do think that there is some hand that had a play in our development over time, and the Sumerian text, which is an older, very old form of, text that we do have in our record that depicts that in specifically. So I appreciate you guys, and I'm still listening. I can go back into the crowd, but like I'm just overwhelmed, and I appreciate what you guys do for the community as well and enlightening everyone. So thank you.
We appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate all of our people who's coming up's frequency. We value and we like, again, we show so much gratitude that y'all are receptive to your own self. You see what I'm saying? Because that's what this system is here in place to do, is to snatch our children and and separate us from each other and separate yourself from yourself. So I heard you when you came in, you said, maybe I'm too dumb. No, none of our people is dumb. We're playing dumb. We're not dumb. You see what I'm saying? We're practicing to be ignorant into who we are. And we're doing that because of this system that's in place. And this system that's in place is targeting you at a biochemical state. So I would advise you to learn more about your genetics. You see what I'm saying? Learn about who you are and who you connected to, which is your mother. You see what I'm saying? And you should learn that divine connection of that, and learn your masculine role on this planet through your DNA. Every question that our people have, it can be answered within your DNA. This is why every organism throughout the entire universe know how to move in their environment, because the number one rule in the cosmos is to know thyself. And to know yourself is to know your functionality, not a title that everybody right now on the planet is fighting over. Everybody right now on the planet is fighting over a title. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? But people who's intellectually thinking, we should be learning the functionality of our atoms, our cells, our molecules, our tissues, organs, organ systems, and us as an organism. So we can know how we're connected to each other. Because if I know that my heart and mind is connected to you, my brother, there will be no reason for me to harm you in any way. I will only uplift you, and you will only do the same. And that's how we build trust within our species. So I value you.
I appreciate that, man. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for having me too.
Okay, gratitude for that. And let's see, Jesus Saves. I see that you came back up here. Go ahead.
Yeah, like the last two people said. I'm definitely not a...
Hold on. You keep coming up here to piggyback off of what everybody else is saying. Go ahead and tell us how you feel about the prompt. Like, just speak your own truth in peace. You're on mute.
I just had a question because I'm definitely not as smart as you guys with all the terminology. I'm a sophomore in high school, and I was just wondering, based off what I've been taught, I've been taught that evolution, or I did my own little research, and evolution happens because of like some just mutations in the DNA. Over time, they make whole different species. Like, can you just explain what doesn't make sense about that to you?
So the thing is that haploids of one species will create diploids of the same species. Evolution or conscious expansion takes place in one species, and that's it. We've never seen one species create another species. Evolution is about a genotypic change. So it's not about the physical traits, it's about what's taking place within the genome. So when we look at all life forms, they connect to either being a prokaryote or a eukaryotic cell or organism. You either function like one or the other. All right. So we've never been able to prove the connection between the two cells or two organisms of prokaryotic and eukaryotic origin. So because we cannot prove their connection, evolution has never been seen in nature. It can be modeled in vitro, it can be modeled in a lab, it can be modeled in synthetic biology under a eukaryotic environment. But as far as natural prokaryotic organisms and introgress eukaryotes, there's no genetic material within a prokaryotic cell to create an unnatural organism, unnatural to the planet, and then completely outside of its genetics.
And the thing is, scientists, evolutionary biologists, they don't agree on the evolution theory. They say it should still be allowed to be taught in school until they figure it out. When do you think they're going to figure it out if it's never happened for millions and millions of years? It's to keep you in a psychological entrapment to lower consciousness. That's what it's for. School means skole, which means to keep clear or to hold back from the truth, from yourself. You see what I'm saying? So you don't see when you look at life, you don't see no natural organisms in nature going to school, especially going to learn from a different species. You see what I'm saying? And the fact that all the food that they're giving you in there, you're going to be in the rest of your life as a man. You hear what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
All right.
Yeah, and also, like the other woman said, she was talking about how something couldn't become something else. I'm not like really sure what the terms were, but don't you think it could like happen gradually over time? Because I don't think it would be just like a wolf gives birth to a lobster or something like that. But you don't think it could be gradual? I know I sound really dumb right now, but I'm not as educated as you guys, but I just want to know.
No, actually, you are educated because the truth is in your DNA. All the scientists that we're talking about is studying you. All right, chemistry, chemet, study of the black dot. All science is studying you and your planet. We got to take that out of our vocabulary of being DUMB, right? Because you're not. They don't want you to know the truth about yourself, but you already know that. That's what neuromelanin is about, right? The brain is not meant to store information. The neuromelanin does that. The morphic resonance in the field is responsible for holding memory, right? The so-called Akashic records that people talk about can be explained through the deoxyetheric acid. The etheric acid is the neuromelanin, right? So you actually have that, and that's what's functioning each of your cells. That's what's functioning your body, right? Because you're not the body, you're the consciousness behind it. So you got to remember, you're not these people, right? We have subscribed to their way of thinking and their way of living and their approach to life, right? They're not connected to themselves, right? We can look at their protein synthesis. There's a portion of their protein synthesis called spliceosomes. I'm not making the word up, right? SD versus the Kozak sequence, prokaryotes and eukaryotes, how they synthesize proteins, right? And they splice several different times throughout their DNA sequence. We can see through retrotransposons and transposons that these people's DNA is not connected and bound together. We can see this model with the chromosomes, right? A standard karyotype or karyotyping. When we look at the standard model for that, those chromosomes are not bound from chromosome 1 to 23. All right. So these people, if you want to say so-called dumb, I would say that for them, not to be disrespectful, but they don't have the same, the consciousness that actually aligns with being able to truly navigate this planet and perceive and synthesize solar radiation and terrestrial radiation. If you can't do that, you're not even conscious.
Yeah, you have to understand.
The eukaryotic cell needs genetic material from other organisms to function. A lot of biologists say that the eukaryotic cell is not even alive. right? So I did hear someone say earlier in the live about symbiotic relationships, right? And to me, out of all the studying that I've done, I would say that the only two symbiotic relationships that exist is mutualism and parasitism. I don't think commensalism truly exists. You see what I'm saying? You either are a parasite or you function with nature. That's it. We don't really see the neutrality between one and then the other one just remaining neutral. Nah. If something is harnessing your energy, you're losing, period. All right. So you got to understand these people need you in order to sustain life. You can never be that word. All right. So to answer your question, no, a dog would not give birth or be connected in any way, shape, form, or fashion to a lobster. Right. It would break down to which lobster we're talking about. There are some that are natural and there are some that are not. There are some that have introgress genes. Right. And then we have dogs that share DNA with wolves, but also share DNA with cats, but also share DNA with chickens and snakes, bananas, right? So the thing is that there's two different origins for all of life, even down to microorganisms. You either come from nature or you don't. And that's what our people are missing out on. We're looking at these people thinking we're the same as them because they say, oh, I've got a head, I've got two arms, I've got two legs. But when it comes to all of that, right? Your arm, your skin, your hair, your pancreas, your stomach, all of that is made up of cells. And the cells that make up these organs have an embryological origin or a starting point. And if my cells don't start from the same point as yours, can I really say that we both have a thumb? Is my thumb really the same as your thumb? Can I really consider my thumb to be a thumb or my arm to be an arm? Because all of Western medicine is basing their basis is a 46-year-old YT man. They're telling you that you are healthy or not healthy according to a 46-year-old YT man. And what's my source for that? Dr. Susan Shunsky. Yeah. All right. So that's my spill on that. Let me see.
And prokaryotic cells are unicellular functioning organisms that lack nucleus and membrane-bound organelles. The circular neuromelanin chromosome floats and flows freely within the region of the cytoplasm called the nucleoid. You see what I'm saying? So when so-called black people, when we tell you that we're prokaryotic cells, it doesn't mean that I'm made up of just one cell. It means that all of my cells within my body, the heart cells, the liver cells, the neurons, they all work together for the same body, and they all stem from the same embryological origin, and they have the same genetic blueprint to construct the body. You see what I'm saying? And they all come from the totipotent stem cell, which can become any cell in the body and can construct an organism from a single cell. Facts. You see what I'm saying? And this is only found in neuromelanated so-called black women. We don't have eggs. She has genetic seeds, which are neuromelanin granules, transducers and inducers of energy. That's what she has inside of her.
Facts. So we have totipotent stem cells. We have stem cells. These other people, they have ovum, right? The polar body is associated with the ovum. Our women have totipotent stem cells and morphic resonant, morphic field, right? Binary fission, which is expressed through vertical gene transfer, right? Where the old pole or the old cell transfers all the genetic material to the new pole. The new pole it synthesizes itself through the mother, right? And we see that expressed through so-called empty DNA with the eukaryotic cell, but prokaryotes lack the mitochondria because it's the biochemical substance, that neuromelanin that actually functions the cell. So Why Darkness Matters is a book about neuromelanin that's written by our people, heavily sourced. You can't turn the page without seeing 8 to 12 sources on a page. All right. So let's see. I think it was some other people up here. I don't know. I think people might have left. Maybe it was an accident.
I came
So
back.
1283. Did you want to add something?
Yeah. Jewel Pukram. She's She's dedicated a lot of her time and intelligence to the topic. She wrote a book called Vitamins and Minerals. It's really good, talking about the differences in bone density between, saying black people and white people, the red blood cells, so on and so forth. And it kind of it gives like a basic rundown on just like particular vitamins and minerals. But her name is Jewel Pookrum. You know what I'm saying? Vitamins and Minerals is the name of the book. That's pretty good. I had a few questions though. So I was listening to Layla Africa sometime back, and if I remember correctly, he was saying that black people's melanin, within our muscle tissues, bones, our brains, and all of that, consisted at the core, or it had more like phosphorus, whereas white people's melanin has more sulfur, right? So that was the first question I had, like, how y'all feel about that? And the second thing was, I know y'all talk about neuromelanin. Like, how does the pineal gland play into your explanation? Like the difference in the pineal gland for black people versus white people. That's it. Did y'all get that? Did that make sense? Okay.
I would just say that, again, remember how I told you earlier that you should be looking up more about your DNA, and you will know how the body comes into existence and how melanin uses elements to create relationships to build so-called more complex foundations. So I would just say that you should learn more about the pineal gland, because the pineal gland is just the physical organ that what's it called, in between all of your 12 cranial nerves, is controlling your whole physical reality and bodily functions. So with that, I would just say study more about your neuromelanin, because that answer will come about. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
All right. C Nice 3421, evolution, the biggest lie ever told. How do you feel about the prompt? Using science, please.
Well, not first of all, I'm sorry to even come off like that. I just want to give you guys props for what you're doing. I've been listening for a little while, and I think it's amazing. You guys are kind of giving back what I feel is a lost knowledge in this time of day. But as far as the prompt, like I said, I've been listening to everything you guys have been saying, and I'm pretty keen on a lot of knowledge of it as far as who we are and who they are. Evolution is the biggest lie to us, obviously. We are not the same, but I think it's true for them, as this picture's depicting. For me and my knowing of them, these were trial attempts, as you said before. They were kind of spiced, where they're manufactured, so to speak. And I think there was multiple attempts of this. That's where we get the Yeti from, Bigfoot, things of this nature, until the Caucasians that we have today. Mixed with us also domesticating them, as some guy has said, as we taught them to bathe, not sleep with their animals. We kind of humanize them in a sense. So that's kind of my take as far as it being the biggest lie to us, but their truth to explain where they come from without actually saying the actual cause of them being spiced to be here, because that would just corrupt their whole foundation.
Okay, I got you with that. Gratitude for sharing those kind words, my brother. I'm glad that listening to the conversations has, helped you in your journey, or you've been able to take some things from it. And you're right. I don't shy away from saying genetic engineering and splicing, because that's what it is. And when you look at what the scientists are saying, that's what they're saying. So the public doesn't want to believe it, but people are actually not paying attention to what the scientists are saying. I'll bring up another one, Dr. David Reich, who basically explained that all so-called non-African people, right, have Neanderthal DNA, right? Dr. Ella Al-Shamahar, however you pronounce her last name, 3 weeks ago debunked evolution because she said that so-called black people genetics are connected to an entirely different species that they haven't seen on this earth. And she's not the only one. David Wilcox also said that, and he got in trouble for it because he told the story about Simi and Toko, right? So it wasn't just Henrietta Lacks. All of our people literally have cells that are prokaryotic and coded in coded in neuromelanin. Excuse me. So yeah, I do see that Taji is back, but I already know how you feel about the prompt. Give me 1 second to introduce Mars because I haven't seen him in here before. Mars, evolution, the biggest lie ever told. How do you feel about the prompt using science? Go ahead.
So you say that evolution is the biggest lie ever told, and I highly disagree with that. The reason why I highly disagree with you is because why do we have Neanderthal skulls and this, there was this one species that was called Homo erectus skulls in museums?
That doesn't prove how haploids turn into diploid cells, which is the basis of evolution. Evolution is stating that we see prokaryotes and eukaryotes in existence. The engulfment between the two is what has never been proven to date. So the fact that you can see a Neanderthal, cool, it has introgress genes. It's not 100% of anything. That doesn't tell me anything.
Exactly. And the thing is, those two hominids that you're telling me about, they both existed at the same time. You see what I'm saying? So what are you trying to say?
Basically, we came from a different hominid. We didn't come from orangutans, apes. I mean, not orangutans. Orangutans, bonobos, or chimps. We came from a different common ancestor. We didn't necessarily come from certain apes. Like, we didn't come from orangutans or nothing.
So if we're coming from different common ancestors, then we're not connected, which is what evolution states. That's what I just said. Prokaryotes and eukaryotes have never been proven to engulf one another to create each other. So how would we be the same species if we didn't evolve from the same embryological origin?
Yeah, and hominization just means the process of becoming a human. So these monkeys that you're telling us about, they're spliced organisms. They have introgress genes. They were the first process of creating y'all, the human. As time went on, they just added more introgress genes from other organisms that they have been splicing in the lab. And when I'm saying they, I'm talking about your creators on the Sumerian tablets.
Okay, so then this brings me to a fundamental point. What do you think we evolved from, or did we not evolve? Did we just...
He just told you.
Yeah, y'all didn't evolve. Y'all came from a genetic splicing mechanism, which is called CRISPR-Cas9. You see what I'm saying? Y'all or electroporation, transfection, microinjection. These are all different forms of hybridization, which is done through repeated backcrossing of multiple different DNA sequences. This is how you were created. You were created in a lab. The same way that you can start.
What?
The same way, yeah. The same way that you can create a donkey in a lab or a banana in a lab or 3D printed in a lab is the same way that y'all came about. You see what I'm saying? The first Asian man, the first white woman, the first Arab woman.
I'm gonna have to stop you right there.
Yeah, exactly. Y'all came about through an ecto womb. Y'all got fed through a fake uterus to be alive and fake minerals. This is why.
No lies
This is why y'all are very. This is why when y'all got released into nature,
Please, no over talking. One at a time, please. Let him land, and we'll get to everybody.
Yeah, this is why when y'all got released into nature, you're not able to absorb the vitamins and minerals of your environment, because the vitamins and minerals that you need is the ones that are in a lab that are consistently being made in a lab. You see what I'm saying? That's why you need homes, you need hospitals, you need jobs, you need all of these things to distract you from nature, because you don't have a natural place in nature. Somebody placed you in these environments. You wasn't naturally born by the earth or generated by the earth into existence.
And you're saying that, but your scientists say it every single day. I've named at least 10 in this live. Like, why y'all keep denying it, but scientists that look just like you are saying that there had to be some sort of intervention because this genetic material does not even want to be together. If you put, a synthetic biologist literally said, if there's a DNA sequence with a sheep and someone wants to introgress genes with rice, it doesn't even want to be together. That's why y'all's chromosomes and the standard karyotype is like that, because it's in vitro neuromelanin that's actually holding that together. All right. It's not real, true nature neuromelanin. All right. So Mars, go ahead and land, and then I'll get to the next guest.
Okay, so
This has been taking place for 600,000 years, approximately.
Can you please go back to the point where you're saying something about sheep coming from
what about
rice?
it? A sheep has introgress genes. It shares genetic material with other organisms, so it's not 100% of a sheep like you think it is.
And y'all have the closest blood to sheep, actually. You see what I'm saying? Y'all, all your blood types are connected to animals.
Can you give me some proof that we share genes with sheep, please?
No, because you want to know why? You're the one that can't. Can y'all stop over talking, please? The reason why I won't is because you're saying that we're all human and that we're all the same, which means that we share DNA with all of life, right? So why do I need to prove that to you? You're the one that's saying that we share DNA with chimpanzees, dogs, cats. You're saying that because you believe in evolution.
I never said that we shared genetic material with dogs or cats. We share about 98.8.
But that's what's within the human genome. 73% share with dogs. 98% share with chimpanzee.
Yes.
63% with cats. 54% with platypus.
You share the DNA.
13%.
It's not yours.
13 to 23% with yeast. The list goes on and on and on and on and on and on. Like, so, okay. I got you with that. Yeah, I got you with that. Let me get to the next guest, all right? So, I've heard Taji before. Go ahead, Django. Evolution, the biggest lie ever told. Go ahead and explain with science how you feel about the prompt. You're on mute. Go ahead. Django. All right, I'm going to have to get you to request back up. All right, so let's see. Black Times. Evolution, the biggest lie ever told. How do you feel about the prompt using science, please?
I feel like it is a big ass lie because we didn't cross-sectionally, evolve from these species. These species was actually created and spliced into different species that we have today. Like they even had a study with Harvard saying that black people are the only humans on the planet. Everybody else is mixed with Neanderthal. Neanderthals are animals. So who created them?
Yeah, so-called black people are not humans because we don't produce animal proteins and enzymes. We're a completely different species than them. So humans have introgress DNA. They are 100% human. Hue means animal. That whole word means animal man. All right, the original origin of that word means animal man.
I thought humans color man.
She said the original, not the changed up version. Just please listen to what she's saying and don't cut her off again. We're going to remove you.
He was talking to me, so shut the fuck up while I'm talking.
Okay, we got you.
Yeah, you're a grown man.
Yeah, like you
need to know how to be able to handle your emotions. Like you
no
cut
emotional
me off,
intelligence,
bro, and
man.
I'm a woman and you on my page. Like, so chill with that.
Hey, can I go? The meat eaters, I'm telling you.
Yeah, give me a second, y'all. No over talking. There are people that are already up here, so let me go in that order, all right? So, Taji, evolution, the biggest lie ever told. How do you feel about the prompt using science?
I just wanted to ask you, like, how you felt, like, biracial people, like, when they are in the sun for a while, they get lighter, and when they are in the sun for a while, they get darker. So imagine that over, like, millions and millions of years, right? It's really that simple. It's, like, it's not that fucking complicated.
You're saying biracial, but this discussion isn't about
I'm explaining
race.
how the sun makes
Thank
people's
you, because you
skin.
do this shit every fucking time. All right? You do that shit every day. Every time you come in here, you do exactly what you just did. All right? Don't overtalk me. If you're going to say something, allow me to respond. All right? So you're saying by race, but this isn't about race. This is about genetics. right? So when we're talking about the skin, this is a discussion about what the skin is made up of, the biochemical substance that makes up the skin, not fourth grade and kindergarten shit with yellows and pinks, right? We're talking about what actually makes the skin and not just the color, the texture, right? The fact that can you actually biosynthesize solar and terrestrial radiation through your entire integumentary system. So y'all like to talk about skin, but everywhere there is skin, there is hair. And guess whose hair falls down to the ground like animals? All right, so let's keep it with science, because I see you try to like high side about that in the comments. You like with science, and yeah, but you didn't bring it. And this is like what? Your fourth day? Sad. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead, move on to the next guest. Who is it? Django, I see you're back up here. Evolution, the biggest lie we're told. How do you feel about the prompt using science, please?
So I just had a question, and I don't mean any disrespect at all. I just wanted to know like how you felt about the Bible.
So now I got to ask you a question. Like, why would you bring that up?
Well, I see that the question is about evolution, and I mean, like, I support science, but I'm also a Christian, so I mean, it's hard for me to kind of listen to this. I've listened a lot, and you know, I do believe that a higher power created us, as naive as that may sound to you, but that's of course because I'm a believer. So. Yeah, I just wanted to know how you felt about that before I even got into a conversation with you about this.
Nah.
So yeah, the thing is that this is about science, and I've been asking everybody to bring science, so religion bars none.
Okay, cool. All right, well, okay, so in evolution, you're asking me, is this the biggest lie? Like, do I believe in a Darwinistic approach, or like this is we're here because we started from tadpoles?
Is that what you believe? Is that what you?
Well, I mean, like, is that the?
What do you know about the evolution theory? Do you think it's real? And if you do, you have to explain it with science. If you don't,
well,
explain it with science. That's all we've been asking you. I don't know how we're running away from this. That's all we've been asking.
I'm not running away from it. I support science, but it's just I guess I'm in a bit of a quarrel because it's like I do support science, but I also believe that God created everything.
Okay, so I'm gonna come clean, and I'm not saying this to be disrespectful. If you're in a quarrel, then you have to sit with that. You know what I'm saying? Where there's a statement on the screen, evolution is the biggest lie we're told, and we're having a discussion about evolution. So if you're at war with yourself between religion, you got to do that like when you sitting with yourself. You understand what I'm saying? Cause like I'm not like I don't know how to have a conversation with you because you're talking about tadpoles, but that's not evolution. And then you want to talk about religion, which is not evolution. So I can't have the discussion.
And I just want to let you know, my brother, religion doesn't come from us. That means to rely on. You're relying on something outside of you to generate your own energy. So that's all I'm gonna say to you.
And we couldn't have come from Adam, right? We couldn't have come from him because Adam had children, right? And so the children had smacks with each other for us all to be here. That's what you believe? Be for real. All right, let's be for real. All right, so D1. Wait, do we already talk to
Except God.
Yo, I go.
Hold on for a second. Hold on, Mars. Hold on for a second. All of y'all that's doing that is finna get dropped. I ain't gonna lie.
One at a time.
One at a time, please. All right. So is it D1 that's next?
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
All right. Evolution, the biggest lie we're told. How do you feel about the prompt using science?
All right, so I'm gonna keep it above. Like, I feel like life is just like a game. Like how everybody waiting on GTA 6. Nigga, it's like.
All right. So let's see. 2 Knox. Evolution, the biggest lie we're told. How do you feel about the prompt using science?
Hello? Yeah, I think that evolution is real, but I thought that you guys were arguing that it was real too.
Go ahead and explain yourself. Go ahead.
I mean, I'm pretty sure at this point it's basically a fact. I mean, animals have been, or fossils have been discovered. We've discovered the links between transitionary animals that would promote the idea that humans have, or not humans necessarily, but that we have evolved over a long period of time, genetic drift, genetic variation. We meet all the criteria to, it's called, expand as a species, to keep on evolving necessarily. And I mean, nothing has came out to work against evolution.
Actually, the time
Scientifically.
period, yeah, scientifically for sure, because we've never seen the engulfment between a prokaryotic and a eukaryotic cell. So that's the thing. Evolution is talking
Can you
about how we
spell
took
that? Can you spell that? I'm
prokaryotes,
taking note.
and can you?
One at a time,
Wait,
yo.
what are you saying about prokaryotes and eukaryotes?
Yeah, prokaryotes and eukaryotes are two different. They have two different origins. All right. So they're not the same in origin, which means that all life forms that function either like a prokaryote or a eukaryote are two different species. Technically, there's two main species on this planet. You either are natural and you arrive through biogenetic processes, or you either come through genetic engineering, artificial selection, introgression, which is done through a medium of hybridization. All right, so I think it is Big Daniel, Evolution, the Biggest Lie Ever Told. Go ahead and tell me how you feel about the prompt using science.
Motherfucker using science.
All right, so let's see. Morpheus, Evolution, the Biggest Lie Ever Told. How do you feel about the prompt using science?
I agree for it's the biggest lie ever told towards the Africanoid, but the Caucasoid, it is correct.
You're saying Africanoid and Caucasoid. What does it have to do for all life forms on the planet?
The Caucasoid did come or has descendant from the primate.
Again, what does that have to do with
hell is a
evolution?
Caucasoid?
Can y'all look? I'm gonna come clean, y'all. Can I just have some respect, please? You know? So the thing is that this is a theory for evolution is talking about how all life is connected on the planet. So it's not about so-called BLK people and YT. All right, this is about everybody outside of us and everything that is eukaryotic.
Okay, are we talking about Darwinism?
We're talking about evolution theory and every theory that is suggested under evolution.
Gotcha. So on that note, I would then say that it would.
All right, something happened with his mic. He accidentally left. Right. Let's see. Papa Christo, Evolution, the Biggest Lie Ever Told. How do you feel about the prompt? Using science, please.
Oh, give me 1 minute. 1 minute.
Okay, if you're not ready, then, request up whenever you are. Let's see. A truck driver. I see you've been up here for a minute. Did you want to add something?
Hi, I'm back. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
I'm still here, by the way. I'll let whoever else speak. Sorry.
All right, so Papa Christo, Evolution, the Biggest Lie Ever Told. How do you feel about the prompt using science?
Yeah, well, evolution. Yes, I believe some of us do evolve from apes, but what I like to start off is the Asiatic Africans are called humans, and then there is the Neanderthal, and then the Caucasian, and the Desophonia. Okay, and they're all known from coming from the sea, then through generations of
dealing with the atmosphere, the floor, the tree, the wind, and everything. They evolved and created other features that created the four-legged creature. And as of right now, we have alligators climbing trees to get their food due to some situation going on with water, with the economy, with the ecosystem. So we see that nature already has our replacement in case something happens to us, where it already has something that could replace us in case something happened to us. We already see the evolving of alligators now changing, and that's how we came. We came from like fishes to four-legged creatures to then standing and walking, and then we were hairy. We were very hairy. Just recently, we started creating technology that helps us shave, cut hairs off of, trim our hair and all of that. And also some things have changed due to evolution. So when you're talking about humans, Neanderthal, Devonians, Caucasians, they're coming from monkeys, and you could tell by also when you go to India, most of these East Asian countries, they're very hairy. They got a lot of hair on them. I do wrestling, and there was this guy from Iran. They were living out in the wilderness. The bro was covered up with hair. He looked like a monkey. This dude was like 6'3", my size. He was like 280 pounds, just looking like a monkey.
Go ahead
White.
again, please.
Sorry about the word. Yeah, sorry about that. Just looking like an ape. No shaving, no nothing. Because they just stay over there. They wrestle all the time. They're in Iran. That's all they do. So I do believe that we do come from, those people come from apes. Now, the people in Africa, the Igbos, they're hominoids. Hominoid. Hominoid. Now, they're not monkeys, though, they say. So they were the first Igbos. They're the first before it was called Africa. So that's what I know. It seems to be accurate.
None of that you said was actually accurate because you just kept comparing everybody to monkeys, but a good grip of these people in their phenotypic expression expressed to look like dogs, expressed to look like pigs. And I've been saying this the whole live. We've been live for 2 hours and y'all keep coming in here talking about apes and monkeys. The picture on the screen is to mislead you. It's meant to mislead because evolution is the biggest lie ever told, and most people don't understand it. It's meant to mislead. So, look, as listening to the collective, these whitey people don't know how they got on the planet. And on the flip side, our people don't either. We know that we're connected to the planet, but we can't explain and articulate how. And that's the problem on our end, right? And then the flip side is that we're looking at a genetic stranger that is on our planet policing us. We're getting medically and psychologically evaluated by these people. We're comparing ourselves to these people. Our children are getting snatched by these people. All of this is happening because we don't know ourselves.
Exactly. And the thing is, we keep focusing on African, white people, or white people, African American, these different titles that have nothing to do with the functionality of your cells. Where in your cells does it say you're African American? Where in your DNA does it say you're African? It doesn't, it has nothing to do with that. You see what I'm saying? That's why we say so-called black people, so-called white people, so-called Asian people, because we understand that your nucleic acid or engineered nucleic acid for them is the melanin that you possess. The melanin that you have is explaining the type of DNA that you have.
Facts.
You see what I'm saying? So this is why the neuromelanin singular chromosome that's within so-called black people's prokaryotic cells is in the cytoplasm which is in the nuclear region. This is where our neuromelanin
All right, so let's see. Jade, evolution, the biggest lie ever told. How do you feel about the prompt using science?
I just want to have like a respectful conversation. I really want to understand your guys' point of view. I believe evolution is like real. That's my position, and I really want to understand how you guys are, like, what your position is. And I just want to start off with, you were saying prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells were from.
Off the app Googling. Yep.
See? He came up saying that
And
shit
this
with
is
his
not
chest.
your first time here.
With his chest.
Yeah, y'all be coming back like, oh, I don't understand. This is like your fourth or fifth time here. We see y'all, man. Stop lying. Like, this is your first time on the panel, but you've been sat in our lives, man. You know exactly how we feel. All right, go ahead and answer us. What is Luca? What cell is it?
I just want to say, this is my first time in the live too. I've been in here for a bit, like in this live for a bit, but I've never.
Okay, it's cool. Like, go ahead, man. If it's not you, okay. I know I've seen this profile before.
Okay, but go ahead and tell us the cell that Luca is.
In the name. When you go off the app, we can't hear you. So you're on pause. We can't hear you.
Doing it, and you're the one who. Because again, the Luca is a prokaryote. It's a prokaryote that through binary fission gave meaning that they didn't need no genetic material from any organisms to generate themselves. They only condensed